Okay, continuing with our video lessons. Okay, today we're going to discuss double angle formulas. Okay, now remember what we saw in class when we were talking about the double angle formulas. We're talking about exactly these formulas. Okay, we're talking about sine 2 times alpha, cosine 2 times alpha, and tangent 2 times alpha. Okay, in the class we discussed where do these come from. Okay, they come from variations from different types of formulas. Okay, they come from sine of alpha plus alpha, cosine of alpha plus alpha, tangent of alpha plus alpha. Okay, so this is the sum formulas that we discussed in previous lessons. Okay, so when we're talking about the double angle, that means that we can use these variations to find certain values. Okay, and remember that all of these formulas, we're trying to use them without using a calculator. Okay, only using our handy table. Okay, so let's start working on exercises where we have to find the double angle. Okay, we're going to do the exercises A through F, okay, on page 139 on your books. Okay, so let's start working. Okay, we're going to use the double angle formulas, okay, that are here, and we will also be using sum and difference, okay, and you will see why in a moment. Okay, so the first exercise is cosine of 180. Okay, now this is pretty straightforward. Okay, if we have 180, that means that this can also be expressed as cosine of 2 times 90. Okay, so using our double angle formulas, we know that the cosine, okay, of 2 alpha can be expressed in different ways. Okay, but let's use the first one, the one that says cosine square of alpha minus sine square of alpha. Okay, so let's work on this one first. Okay, so we bring our information, cosine 2 of alpha, so that means that alpha is 90, right? Okay, because it comes from here. It comes from here. Okay, so we put cosine of 90 to the square minus sine of 90 to the square. Okay, now do we know cosine of 90 and sine of 90? We come to our tables. Okay, the first one we need is the cosine. Okay, so we go cosine of 90, 0. Okay, so we have 0 to the square minus sine of 90. Okay, so we come sine of 90, 1 to the square. Okay, so we have 0 minus 1 to the square, 1, and 0 minus 1, minus 1. Now, how do we know if this is correct? Look, cosine of 180 minus 1. Okay? So, let's review. What did we do? We bring alpha. Okay? If this angle is 180 and we convert it into a double angle, that means 2 times 90. Okay? And we have a formula for cosine 2 times alpha, which is this one. Okay? Then we just place the values that we know and solve. Okay? Let's do the next one. Let's do letter B. Okay, letter B is telling us cosine square of 15 minus sine square of 15. Okay, so here, if you notice, we have the inverse. Okay, if you notice this one, okay, this one is very similar to this one. Look, cosine square of an angle, cosine square of an angle, minus sine square of an angle, minus sine square of an angle. Okay, so if we have cosine to the square of 15 minus sine to the square of 15, that means that we have here cosine of 2 times 15 and cosine of 2 times 15 is cosine of 30. Okay, let me fix that number. Cosine of 30. And do we have cosine of 30? Do we have cosine of 30? Yes. Square root of 3 divided by 2. So square root of 3 divided by 2. And that is my answer. Okay? So they give us the formula in a double angle. Okay, so instead of doing this to become this, we're having this to become this. Okay, and this would be square root of 3 divided by 2. Let's do the next one. Okay, letter C. Letter C, we're going to need some space, so let me put it here. Okay, letter C is a very good exercise because it mixes double angle with sum and difference. Okay, you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, look at letter C, sorry. It says tangent of 240. Okay, so this is a very awesome exercise because we have to mix different formulas. Okay, let's start. Now, tangent of 240 is already a double angle, right? So we would have tangent of 2 times 120. Okay, this one brings us to 240, right? Now, if you notice, okay, if we come to our table, we don't have the tangent of 120 because we have 90, 180, 270, 360. Okay, so what we can do is convert the 120 into another double angle. Okay, let's check. Okay, so let's do this one first. Let's just simplify this one. Okay, so what do we do when we have a tangent to alpha? We come to our formulas here on page 138 and look, let's copy the formula. Okay, so we have 2 times tangent of alpha 1 minus tangent square of alpha. Okay, so this is the formula, right? Let's put the values so that it's easier for us to imagine what are the next steps. Okay, so from here, okay, we place the values. Okay, so we have 2 times tangent of 120 divided by 1 minus tangent of 120 to the square. Okay, now let me simplify this so that it's easier for us to see it. Let's say that I'm going to separate this and that I'm going to separate here. If you notice, inside this purple parentheses and inside this purple parentheses, I'm going to change the color of this one. Okay, inside the parentheses, we have another double angle. Okay, because tangent of 120, we can change that. We can change tangent of 120 to what? To tangent 2 times 60. Why? In our table, do we have values for 60? Yes. Do we have values for 120? No. Okay, so we're going to use 60 as a double angle as well. Okay, so let me work on this one. The 2 is going to remain here, right? Because this one is from here. Okay, so we copy the 2, and then inside here we have another tangent 2 times 60. Okay, let me copy it again so that we... Okay, so we're going to do tangent 2 times 60. And we're going to do the same on the bottom. Look, 1 minus 2, tangent 2 of 60 to the square. And all of this inside a parenthesis. Okay? Remember that this one stays with this one. Okay, so technically we didn't have to do this, but let's continue. Okay, so now we have another tangent inside this tangent. Okay, so this tangent 2 times 60, we're going to convert it into another formula. Okay, and we're going to have it inside. Okay, so let's work on it. The 2 stays the same, okay, because this 2 comes from here. Okay, this one comes from here. Okay, and then we have tangent 2 times 60. Okay, so it's going to be 2 tangent of 60 divided by 1 minus tangent of 60 to the square, divided by this, right? By this one. And this one becomes another. Okay, so we have 1 here, 1 minus 2 tangent of 60 divided by 1 minus tangent of 60 to the square. Okay, I hope you're following. Remember, we're doing a double angle. O sea, lo estamos haciendo dos veces because we're converting 240 to 2 tangent of 120. And we're converting the tangent of 120 to tangent of 260. Pero este 2 viene de acá. Entonces no es que lo perdemos. Ese sigue ahí. Y lo seguimos acarreando. Okay? Now, let's put the values that we already know. So we have 2. Okay? Esto va en la parte de arriba. Okay, here. And then 2 times tangent of 60. Let's look for tangent of 60. Sorry. Tangent of 60, square root of 3. Okay, so 2 tangent square root of 60, we have 2 times square root of 3. Okay, and then 1 minus tangent of 60. What is tangent of 60? Square root of 3, right? But to the square. So square root of 3 to the square is 3. 1 minus 3 minus 2. Let's continue. Let's work on the bottom. Okay, we have the 1 minus 2 times tangent of 60 to square root of 3. And 1 minus tangent of 60. How much is tangent of 60? Square root of 3, right? Square root of 3 to the square, 3. 1 minus 3 minus 2. Okay? Now, can we cancel or simplify? Yes. Okay, for example, this one simplifies with this one, but we still have the negative symbol. Okay, so let's write what we still have left. So we have minus 2. Okay, we still have the minus 2 times square root of 3, right? Okay? Now, what do we have on the bottom? Okay? This one cancels with this one. Okay? And remember that we have the square root of 3 to the square. Okay? Sorry, I forgot about this one. Okay? Comes from here. So, square root of 3 to the square, 3. 1 minus 3 minus 2. Minus 2 divided by minus 2, I can cancel. And the answer of the tangent of 240 is square root of 3. Este lo vamos a repasar porque este sí estaba un poco largo y complicado. Okay. Where did we get all of this? How do we get to square root of 3? Y solo para que avancemos. Let's see if tangent of 240 is square root of 3. Tangent of 240, meaning 1.73. Square root of 3, 1.73. Entonces ya sabemos que estamos correctos. ¿Okay? Ahora repasemos cómo llegamos ahí. Tangent of 240. Esto lo convertimos en tangent of 2 times 120. Okay? So, tangent of 2 times 120, usamos esta fórmula, ¿verdad? Because this is the double angle of the tangent. Okay, so we have tangent of alpha. What is alpha? 120. Entonces, miren, 2 times tangent of 120, 1 minus tangent of 120 to the square. Okay, pero esto, the tangent of 120, también es un double angle. It becomes tangent of 2 times 60. Igual acá abajo, miren. Tangent of 120 es otro tangent of 2 times 60. Entonces, todo lo que está dentro de este paréntesis morado, we're going to change it to a tangent of 260. Entonces aquí vamos a usar otra fórmula de estas. Okay? That is why we have 2 times tangent of 260, 1 minus tangent of 260 to the square. Porque esta es la aplicación de esto aquí adentro. Y aquí abajo también vamos a tener otra de estas. Miren, aquí están. 2 times tangent of 60, 2 times tangent of 60, 1 minus tangent of 60 square. Aquí está. Y en la parte de abajo también tenemos otro tangent of 260. Miren, por eso está aquí. Y siempre mantenemos el 2 que está aquí. Mantenemos el 1 menos esto. Aquí está. Y ahora tenemos otro double angle aquí adentro. Okay? Y cuando ya tenemos 2 tangent of 60, we can go to our table. And we have 60 square root of 3. Miren, por eso aquí tenemos 2 tangent of 60 es 2 times tangent of square root of 3. Este 2 viene de acá. Entonces lo estamos acarreando. Y este menos 2, ¿de dónde viene? How much is tangent of 60? Square root of 3, right? Déjame ponerlo aquí abajito. Square root of 3. Pero square root of 3 to the square es 3. And 1 minus 3, minus 2. Lo mismo acá abajo. 2 times tangent of 60, 2 times square root of 3. Y 1 menos tangent of 60 to the square. ¿Cuánto es tangent of 60? Square root of 3. Lo elevo al cuadrado. ¿Cuánto es? 3. Y 1 menos 3 menos 2. Y esto está elevado al cuadrado, ¿verdad? Porque este cuadrado, ¿de dónde viene? De aquí. Del segundo double angle. ¿Okay? Y una vez que tenemos esto, empezamos a cancelar este 2 con este 2, pero queda el negativo. Entonces este se convierte minus 2. And then, este se divide con este. ¿Ok? Y queda negative square root of 3. Pero negative square root of 3 to the square es 3. ¿Ok? And then 1 minus 3 minus 2. Abajo solo queda minus 2. Okay, y después eliminamos minus 2 and minus 2 y solo nos queda square root of 3. Okay, let's do the rest. Let's do letter D. Ese parece estar bien sencillo. Letter D says 1 minus 2 sine of square 22.5. Okay, so what formula has 1 minus 2 sine of square? Meaning 1 minus 2 sine of square, cosine of the double angle. Okay, cosine of 2 alpha. Okay, and what is alpha? 22.5. 2 times 22.5, we have cosine of 45. Do we have cosine of 45? Yes. Square root of 2 divided by 2. And that is my answer. Okay? We just take this. This looks like the cosine of 2 alpha, right? Miren, esta es una de las formas, ¿verdad? Okay, so we just apply cosine of 2 alpha. Y si alpha es 22.5, that would be 2 times 22.5, 45. And then cosine of 45, this. Okay? Let's do another one. Okay, let's do letter E. Okay, letter E. Letter E says 2 times sine of 75 cosine of 75. Okay, so let's look for a formula that has 2 times sine cosine. The first one, look. 2 times sine cosine, sine of 2 alpha. Okay, so that means that we have sine of 2 alpha. And if alpha is 75, that means that we have sine of 2 times 75. And how much is that? Sine of 150. Do we have a 150? No. Can we use another type of formula to get to 150? Yes. ¿Qué tal 180 minus 30? O hasta podríamos usar 90 and 60. Okay, la respuesta siempre va a ser igual. Puedo usar la resta 180 menos 30 o puedo usar la suma 90 más 60. Okay, so how do I get to 150? I can use sine of 180 minus 30. Okay, and what is sine of 180 minus 30? We go back to our sum formulas y usamos ¿cuál? Usamos sine of alpha minus beta. Sine alpha cosine beta. Sine alpha cosine beta minus cosine alpha sine beta minus cosine alpha sine beta. So here we have the formula. Okay, I'm just copying the formula here. Okay, this is the formula that we're going to use. Okay, porque estamos usando la de resta. Okay, so sine of 180 cosine of 30 minus cosine of 180 sine of 30. Okay, recuerden, aquí solo estamos sustituyendo alpha 180, beta 30. Alpha 180, beta 30. Okay, let's look at our table. Do we have values for these angles? Yes. Sine of 180 Miren, sine of 180, 0. Cosine of 30, square root of 3 divided by 2. Minus cosine of 180 minus 1. And then sine of 30, 1/2. Okay? 0 times this, 0 minus negative 1 times 1/2, negative 1/2. Negative times negative, and we have our answer. Okay? También podíamos haber usado el 90 más 60, ¿verdad? The answer is going to be the same. Okay? And let's do the last one. F. F is telling us 2 times cosine square of 45 minus 1. Okay, so which formula has 2 cosine square minus 1? Miremos. 2 cosine square minus 1, cosine double angle. Okay, so that means that we have a cosine of 2 alpha. Cosine of 90, right? Because this is cosine of 2 times 45. And do we have a cosine of 90? Cosine of 90? 0. And that is the answer. Okay? So, make sure to check out the link under this video for the exercises for this lesson. Okay, remember that this lesson can be found on page 138 on your books. And like I always mention, this is why it is important to remember the formulas for other lessons. Because if you notice, for example, in letter C, we used the double angle and we used the sum. Okay? So it is important to remember all of the formulas that we have seen so far. Okay? Perfect. If you have any questions, please let me know. Okay? And I will gladly help you out. Okay? Make sure, like I said, to check out the link under this video for the exercises that you will need to hand in. Thank you very much, guys.